is usually a good part of the game.
All right, for sure. But let's see if we get any more 3-star forecasts as we continue on today. Admirable Keen, take it away with game number 5 here of the Dragonlance Mid-Set Finale.
I will say that here on day number 1, coming into game 5, it feels like this is a 3-star game when I look at this lobby, Keen, because at any point in here, I'm picking a player and I'm going, yeah, there's a good chance that they're getting first.
Yeah, we definitely high rolled the lobby choice here. I'm very excited to watch this. I also just want to just quickly touch up on the other thing about, why are these 3-star forecasts losing? I think the other part is that the 10-cost dragons are just so strong that a 2-star Aoshin is just going to be able to delete a Corki. Like, it doesn't matter how much damage you're doing if you die. And so Aoshin, even Aurelion Soul can beat through it, or a Shyvana just jumping on your backline. It's just that's one of the reasons those forecasts can be a little weak. So it just kind of depends on the lobby.
So what I'm hearing is that offense is the best defense.
Offense is always the best defense.
If you take out all the units, they don't actually deal any damage. It's permanent CC.
Yeah, that was the old adage in League of Legends, right? His death is the best CC.
Yeah.
Those old Talon LeBlanc players, I missed your chain, but one-shot them anyway, no problem.
Yeah, dust your hands. Let's go to the next level.
That's right. Soju mounted a nice comeback in that last game. Seeing the Volibear coming in hot here. We were talking a little bit about it. It was like, was Milk going to play Volibear? But then we saw Soju is the one that ends up picking it up, and the board strength was no joke at the end.
Oh, it really was not. And honestly, one of the big things I've been noticing is the great understanding of when you need to have that sustain item established on Volibear, like when you need a Bloodthirster or something similar to that, or when you actually can just go more attack speed. And in that game, Soju actually leaned into the RFC angle, and it felt like that Volibear was just invincible after that aspect ended up taking place. And so as we roll into the augments here, kicking off with Gold, Gold has definitely been like my favorite augment level of this set. It feels like this stuff is powerful, but not like disgustingly powerful at times. I do sometimes crave that prismatic aspect. And Salvage Bin, I think, being the open here is a very nice spot for a player like Soju, who just has a very strong understanding of kind of flexing between units and bouncing things back and forth, just being very aggressive with the items and being able to see that vision at the end and piece together a team that makes sense with all the items afterwards.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised he took Salvage Bin there, though. I think Ricochet... I guess Ricochet is pretty bad. It does give Tristana, though. Actually, I guess I'm not surprised. The more I think about it, the Tristana is not worth it. This is my Namzi brain working, where I'm like, oh, Tristana? Oh, sign me up. And then I go 8th, and it's like, oh, that's right, I took Ricochet as an augment. But yeah, he ends up slamming Locket here. I think this is a good decision. The Bramble Vest just doesn't have that much value early, especially compared to a Locket. And one of the issues with Locket is that when you slam it, you're stuck with a Locket endgame. But because of Salvage Bin, he's able to sell it later and still have good board strength early.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking this could turn into like a Frozen Heart and a Ginsu's Rageblade later on. You get early game value of it, and you still have the aspect. Like, Salvage Bin, I think, is one of the most complex augments in the game. Because every single time I take this, I am stuck dizzy as heck when I get to that 4-2 point.
It's definitely, once you sell everything, you start transitioning. I almost always have to, bake in at least one turn where I'm like, all right, I'm going to lose this one, but I'm going to be like, I'm going to sit here and put this together, put that together, start rolling a little bit as well. But that's a big APM test for sure.
Oh, yeah. Setsuko, we did see, I think, past the APM test. However, it has not been the hottest day for Setsuko right now. Sitting at 13 points in 30th place, Setsuko is going to have a heater of a pan out in these last 2 games to have a strong chance at day 2.
And unfortunately, he's sitting on this Cosmic Orb with Astrals here, and it's going to be... I think we saw Soju play this earlier, hit everything early and still lose, and I think... barring really amazing augments on the second and third options here, this could be a tricky spot for Setsuko as well.
I will say that Setsuko often does come into this aspect where either he is fighting very aggressively for the win streak or is very dedicated to the loss streak aspect, having a comfortable amount of econ in the middle of the game, and then finding a major spike to really turn everything around. I'm curious to see if they can piece this out, because I imagine that this is one of the higher risk angles that you can take, but it does feel like it has one of the biggest power spikes you can take, is that they are just now completely opening up the board to favor economy.
Yeah, you're looking at this is going to drop him down. He's hoping to get somebody who's only playing 4 units, which would then put him at 76 health. And then you're looking at potential 56 to 60 HP stage 2, which is not a good spot to be. But in the past it wasn't an issue because you could just roll, you'd spike on Varus, and oftentimes you could win out with a Varus board. Varus just isn't that strong anymore. We saw just now Xayah 3 lost, so if Xayah 3's losing to some of these boards, certainly not feeling confident about a Varus 3 board. And I'll be curious to see if he's able to get some good augments to shore him up here.
Like you said, it's big hits. It's going to be a low life total and a very tight call for Setsuko. But again, they're sitting at 30th place here coming into Game 5. You're going to need 2 back-to-back strong finishes. Over to Dishsoap's side. Dishsoap, I think... Or, I'm sorry, we're just taking a peek at Dishsoap's board.
Yeah, you mentioned that Setsuko's struggling, which is why I'm extra confused that he took this Astral augment. Because I feel like the upside for this is so low. It's like one of those things that the floor is already kind of low and then the ceiling's not even that high. So in a spot where you kind of need to be fighting for first, I just don't see why the lean towards Varus is the answer here. But maybe he knows something I don't.
I feel like Setsuko knows a lot of things that I don't. I just don't feel like I understand them necessarily when I see them. It's just such a very deep and complex issue. I'm kind of looking across the board here, and it really feels like there are a lot of econ-related augments taking place in the opening. Saibur with a combat augment, iiLucky with a combat augment. Pretty much everybody else with something related to economy or just strengthening your board a little bit.
Yeah, it's the Two Trues is one of these that's kind of sits in the middle where, yeah, it's a little, like, you could definitely argue that it's board strength, so you're getting some good units. It's an econ augment because you're getting, 5-8 gold worth of units there. And it's not, I love Two Trues. I think this is one of my favorite augments to play.
Really?
Yeah, but it's one of these augments that sometimes you get some stuff, like sometimes you get like Nidalee and Nami and you just, go next. But it would appear as if he got Braum and Senna here, which I think are 2 of the better options you can get for sure.
I think it's just like the worst one you could get, like Thresh, Skarner.
Thresh is pretty bad. Thresh, Skarner, that's pretty bad. I think Nidalee plus anything. I think Nidalee's the worst unit in the game right now, so it's got to be Nidalee something.
I mean, nerfed 5 times or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Astral. JasonJava taking a little bit of a hit here. Soju and Dishsoap now sitting on the 5-win streak angle. And let me tell you what, this is just one of my favorite parts of the game, is seeing who could actually piece through on the 5-win streak. It just feels like it has this enormous history of just nothing but positive outcomes every single time. Like, how do you take advantage of this so often when you're in these spots?
This is an interesting spot. What he'd actually do is just level here and play a Sedge for an extra 100 health. And he's still at 10 gold, level 6. It's not a bad play. I actually rolled a 6 here a lot when I'm playing, especially in an econ position, and especially if I know there's one other person sitting at 100 health. But if you lose the fight, then it's kind of a bad spot to be in. So yeah, he's just gonna greed out and say, yeah.
Oh, that's a great board to face.
I would have wasted 20 gold, and so he played it better than I did.
Hey, that extra 2 damage could be a diff.
It could.
It's a very different scenario. Maybe Hustler would have been the difference in a spot like that. Casper going to be taking a loss.
Yeah, so
let's go 58.
You do hope if you're the lobby that Soju loses here at least. You hate seeing 2 people streak into neutrals. Especially something like Setsugo's spot is looking...
Your friend's messaging you, and you're just waiting for them to send the message. And you're like, all right, say it already!
Oh, Soju losing is very good for the lobby. But that means Robin's streaking as well. But it's still, you don't want 2 5-streakers going into neutrals. That's one of those lobbies where half the people are dead on the beginning, like by turn 5-2.
If there's one player I can see snapping it to, it just feels like it's Robin. No matter what, they're going to be chasing the win streak. I feel like I've never seen Robin go for the loss streak ever.
Oh, I hate going for a lost streak, but I think I watched too much of Soju's stream, and I feel like it influenced me. And all that lost elo, watching Soju.
I think he's doing all right. I haven't seen too many Soju specials lately.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better about it.
So I still have my eyes just down at Setsuko at this point. I feel like that's going to be the earliest inflection point of the game for sure. Just given the nature of it. It still could be like a 3-5 style commitment, I think.
Interesting. So we got a Guinsoo slam. We already have the Zeke slam. Executioner is calling. There's a Negatron on the bench. I'm assuming he's going to want a glove there, and you just go QSS Guinsoo. That's a lot of attack speed, and a Deja spot is not terrible. Could also be Xayah from this spot. An early siphon. It's not bad. Not bad.
That's a drop from the Krugs.
Not bad. You just sell the set, and you already have the Thresh too as well. So it's already 4 Whisper with Jade and Guardian. It's a pretty good spot to be.
It's really tough to be.
Yeah, you
much
got,
stronger than this.
You got Morello. You got a Negatron that can become a Bloodthirster here. The glove can become like you have 2. Like, if you get a tier, you can just slam Hodge. So it's pretty quickly gonna get a healing augment as well. And he's up against Dishsoap, so he could be the streak breaker. He could take out 2 streaks here.
This would be a big one. I will say that this double Guardian front for Dishsoap does feel a little bit stronger. And without a healing item,
Where's
the
the
Siphon
charge?
is a little bit weaker, but the charge is spot on!
Oh, man, that charge. If it charged left there, the 1 health.
Wow.
So that's a 5-unit loss, too. That's the difference there.
Woo. Robin is the great equalizer of the lobby right now.
Siphon RNG. Love it. Ooh,
Oh,
Dragon Horde.
boy.
I don't know if you take this here, because I think you might get weaker by taking this, because he's actually got a strong board around this Siphon, and something like Second Wind would be really helpful right now when he doesn't have healing. Ah, but he went for it.
Setsuko
Quite see what dragon he got, though.
having a roll down here.
Yeah, so this is what we were talking about. Setsugo has to roll, and he's leaning towards Varus. Get those items. There's another Varus there. Would not be surprised to see him. I guess he should probably sit at this point. There's no way you just roll for 1. Lowy. What augment? He got Best Friend. It's not bad, but this is kind of what Soju had earlier. Oh, so we did see him roll.
Yeah, I think the roll here is
So
right
he's rolling
because
for
you
Nami
have
3.
Yeah, you have the Nami 3 plus the Alawi spot, and I think that's really the big
I
difference.
think he's missing Best Friend value on the front line, fortunately. And looks like
These
Use Glove is getting slammed. A couple
Yeah.
armors left.
I'm kind of digging this. I feel like that this is at least an angle here. Like, I think it's possible.
Oh,
still for the
Casper
Bears to get first. Big
has some
Best Friend's
good
at
items on
1.
that volley bear.
Yeah, that volley's pretty scary. I don't know. I'm still a believer in the Varus. I don't know why I like this unit so much. I just do. Because I kind of hate this unit at the same time. I don't know. I get trapped into this mode so much.
I think it's horrible. And I don't know if Best Friends is good enough. And he's sitting at 0 gold with 4 Varuses. You'll probably see him send it again on 4-1 at level 6. Is basically what Soju did. And I don't know if that's enough to be able to stabilize.
Looking for the big ones. That spot. Robin's still on the win streak. Feels like a lot of dragons have been showing up.
Casper would love. Looks like he's rolling to find the early Idas here.
I mean, Casper's at 7. This was a quick level to the 7 because of the Hustler angle.
Yeah, it's Hustler, and then he also has the. I don't know what that item is called. The attack speed item off Shimmer.
Gambler's Blade, I believe.
Gambler's Blade. There we go.
Wow, the option for the 6 Jade is here as well. Oh, this is a really tight spot here from Casper, because holding on to this Leona is kind of spelling out the idea of like, hey, Deja, please show up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different options for him to go at this point. The static Shiv is going to be nice on this augment, or on this comp as well. Just a lot of attack speed. And he's going to be pushing levels pretty aggressively here. Looks like the way to play this augment is very similar to the one that lets you go up to 10, or anything below 10 less, where you just kind of push levels aggressively.
Let's go going for... Oh, that's a Varus holding a cloak. I think he couldn't go that one given the context of it. Like, I'd maybe just have to have Death's Blade as well. That could just be very possible. As I look around at this one, 2 different dragon hordes? Is that the plus attack one?
Dragon Horde. I believe Horde is attack, and then there's a Dragon Alliance as well. So there's a lot of dragons in this lobby.
Okay, that spells out a lot of the dragons.
Yeah, so a lot of people playing for dragons here. So, I mean, that's a bunch of people with dragons in this lobby already in the mid stage, which means a lot of pretty strong boards, but they kind of cancel each other out a little bit, and it just kind of sucks for everybody else. Imagine not having a dragon on stage 3. Oh
Yeah.
my god, jasonjava just hit Shioyu 2 on 3-5.
Yeah, it feels like it's gonna happen sometimes. And for iiLucky here, nothing too, I'd say, extravagant looking like it's happening here. Just some pretty play strong board kind of concepts here. Get the gold ready and start 2-star on the board.
A lot of Shioyu holders are going to be very sad that somebody 2-starred already. You got Soju with it sitting on his bench over there as well. And of course, iiLucky has one on the board. It's not enough.
It's not enough to get it done here. Oh, goodness. I just feel like my Shioyu's holding items here. It's got additional stats as like a bonus trait. Like, why isn't this good enough? That's always the way it ends up seeming in these spots like this.
Xiaoyu's weird. Some of these games, you have Xiaoyu early and you just full win streak, it's fast 8, you're feeling great. And some games, you hit the Xiaoyu with great items and you just lose every fight on stage 3 to like a 2-star center or something, you know? It just... Dragons can be so volatile. Wow. Is he considering selling this? Wow. So he's going to sell to move the items over. That interesting play. Don't know if I would have made the same play. But, I mean, this board is pathetic. There are no upgrades. Oh, my God. And Robin hit Siphon 2. So you have Siphon 2 and Shioyu 2 already. Wow. This is
this is a pretty cracked lobby right now.
Yeah, for somebody like iiLucky, this is I was like, oh, well, this game sucks. And you're like, oh, I want to go next, but I don't even know if he has the ability to go next, considering where he is on the standings.
Yeah, Lucky needs some pretty strong finishes here. I don't think it needs to be like back-to-back top 2s, but you're definitely looking for back-to-back top 4s in a position like this. And so I don't think it's out of the reach in this game. It just feels like your window got much, much shorter in this aspect.
I mean, at 19th, you have to top 4 both games to have a shot. And so he's sitting unfortunately, he has 50 gold, and you'll see him roll here. I do expect most of this lobby to be rolling at 7. So this should be one of those lobbies where you're going to see a lot of weaker stage 5 boards, just because so many people, just because it is Shioyu 2 and a Siphon 2 already. If you're not rolling for strength here and you face those 2 guys, you're taking 10. And it's really not a spot you want to be in. So I do expect to see a good chunk of the lobby roll down at 7 here.
A nice little cleanup of the board here, too, at the end.
He might feel like he's stable, though, with having found that itis. There's a Shioyu as well. Yeah, but the roll, I think, is the absolute correct play. You need to start 2-starring at least the peripheral units, if not the dragons.
I mean, something has 2-star here. There's no way you can roll on this board. You're just going to take 30.
Oh, he just got confused for a second. There's too much stuff.
A lot going on. Siphon could show up now at this point. Pair of Dejas.
Hitting the Deja with another Siphon. So you don't have to hold the Shioyu anymore. It's probably, Shioyu, Itis, or Silas.
Yeah, that's a big change right there.
Even that is a pretty big hit. You just have to roll and find some stuff. Oh, sold the Itis. Ooh.
Kind of curious about the Jeweled Gauntlet idea there, and I feel it floating.
I don't think you go Jeweled Gauntlet. You definitely want some attack speed here with Executioner. Otherwise, this thing's just never gonna cast. It's just so cumbersome watching this Deja just slowly chunk. It's just so slow.
It's very relaxing.
It is. It's like a Bob. This is like Bob Ross Deja, just kind of slowly painting the strokes one by one, killing nothing.
Hey, Lucky won that fight. I just want to point that out.
All right, he did win that fight. He killed something.
Yeah. That's a reroll on that side. Ooh, this is...
Ascension's good, but Big Friend also would have been pretty good because if you're running a few dragons, that's a lot of health. But Ascension is huge if you feel like you can stall the fight. I'm kind of not sure you can stall fights though, but
you got a pair of Whispers. You have somewhat of a front line. You have the Cavalier point of view, and you really just need the Deja sweep to just absolutely bust the board.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Ascension makes sense at least, but I was kind of torn on the Big Friends aspect.
With the Ascension, I believe the first cast goes off before it, and the second cast will go off after. And I'm actually wondering, do you just slam? Well, I guess it's not at this point. You need to build a Archangels, and I feel like that'll be the last item here. And then the second sweep, you're hoping with the Ascension plus the Archangel stack will be enough to clear the board.
Well, I'm seeing a Varus 3 on Setsugo's side. Setsugo sitting at 33, so pretty strong stage 3, all things considered.
Yeah.
No one on a highlighted win streak at this point as well, and Setsugo going to continue to win. And that, honestly, some pretty strong pickups on Augment's side as well. I feel like the cybernetic value, having that extra armor there, gives Setsugo's board a lot more time for that Varus to crank up.
Setsugo also has the Deathblade on his Varus, which is something Soju's Varus lacked earlier, and that might be the difference in terms of how much damage it does. But We do. I'm still not sure it's gonna be strong enough in this lobby where, like, again, a bunch of people just hit stuff. Like, as soon as he faces Robin, what happens when that Siphon just jumps on and eats the Varus? There's just a lot of death traps, and again, Setsuko's one of those players that needs to be playing, like, finishing, top 2 even.
I will say that Jade Namzi is not what I expected to see today alongside a mage board.
I love Jade Namzi. The few times I've played it, the thing with Jade Namzi that's awkward is in order to play the full board, you need to be level 8. But getting to 8 can be, as I mentioned earlier, very awkward with Namzi. So you see him here sitting at level 7 with no clear way to get up. I don't think it'll be a Jade Namzi. That's just an item holder until he finds a Siphon. But Siphon's fairly contested in this lobby. So again, that's the other thing I was mentioning earlier. Sometimes you're stuck at 7 looking for a Siphon, and sometimes you don't hit, and that's that.
jasonjava sitting with that 2-star Deja, having that blade just gambling away with the Archangels as well. 2-star Deja is usually enough to clean up these boards, stabilize this point as well. 3 players, as you mentioned too, sitting with either Dragon Horde or Alliance.
Yeah, he also has cybernetic uplink, which is something that's really amazing on Deja, because Deja has trouble casting sometimes, but you don't want to slam Shojin, and so cybernetic uplink can really help Deja get off that second, that third cast. That's going to be the difference in those fights.
Free mana hanging out. And I'm kind of looking across a lot of cybernetic uplinks.
Yeah, we saw Setsuko eat another loss there, and like I said, you at this point, he's still level 6. It's one of those spots where you're sitting there and you have a lot of buyer's remorse for taking the Astral Augment early and pigeonholing yourself into going Varus.
Could have just been like a lack of other opportunities as well. Like that might have just honestly been the best chance.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I would love to see the augment options. Maybe you just got full more dog. Sometimes it just happens. And we're seeing a full Zaya pivot.
Wow.
Here. Yeah, this is very traditional. Oh, it's Deja pivot. But it could easily be Zaya still. You see him sitting on... Okay, he just sold it.
It could still easily be Zaya here.
Well, I mean,
we
saw this board earlier, and we saw the Zeeks, and it was looking like a Deja, and so I guess he decided to commit to it. It's quite contested, though.
I'm curious about these last few pieces here. Like, what do you actually do with these? So, Hodge. Okay, so this is going to be just the Hand of Justice on Deja to get that little bit of sustain.
Actually, I don't really like Hand of Justice there. I think I would, especially at 51, I think you probably just greed and go for the Archangels, but...
I don't know. I kind of like it. I think the sustain item could be very valuable here.
It's getting
give a lot of armor
with
pressure.
speed.
It feels like your front line's really good. Like the way you lose, it feels like is this item gets jumped on or gets splashed to death.
He's sitting in a really good spot. It's basically 50 gold, level 8, and the rest of the lobby is full of people that are kind of on the struggle train. Oh boy! And, oh shit! Oh, he's rolling past. All right, this is full commit to Deja. We already saw somebody else hit Deja too, though. I think it's very unlikely that he's going to hit it here, and I think it might be better in this spot to just kind of sit until you natural a Deja too, and then send it, or you wait for a few of the Deja players to die. I don't see him really hitting it feasibly here, unfortunately, even if that's what he needs. And there's not really anything else to roll for. It's either Deja or Yasuo, right?
Decided not to collect the Hecarim's. I love collecting Hecarim's because when that thing's 3-star, it pretty much just paralyzes the board.
3-star. I mean, if you're in a spot where 3-star Hecarim is your win condition, I mean, sometimes it is, though.
I mean, I don't mind it. I think the thing's beautiful. I'll put 2 Hecarims in play. I don't mind.
2 Hecarim in play is not bad, though. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it definitely is not bad. I've seen it a lot in some of the China VODs I've watched. It's actually like one of the counter strategies of some of the boards I've noticed.
Deja 1, Deja 2.
That, of course,
that's the diff.
Deja 1, Deja 2, indeed.
Deja 1 also does negative damage.
Cybernetic uplink as well. That's a big difference. Setsuko taking another loss. Lucky taking a loss. Cyber taking a loss. All the 3 players on bottom taking losses in this one, and I feel like it's starting to spell out the cascade of this board. Soju sitting at top of 53, Robin at 51, Java on a win streak at 50. And this is, I feel like, going to be
bad. The
next defining
Giant Slayer, not bad. Giant Slayer and Shroud, I would take
Giant Slayer,
this.
Shroud, plus a Thieves' Gloves on the bench as well.
Yeah, so you're going to see him easy. Wow, he actually hit Nico 2 at 7 as well. This is a pretty high roll game for Robin. That's a big hit to be able to play Soraka here. And looking for the other Whisper. I think he really just wants a Silas. But sometimes you just don't find silos.
All right, so we're dipping on all of the guild aspects.
He needs to get that shade statue in. Well, I guess he has a lot of time still.
Can have like the shapeshifter or the guardian.
Is he confused? He just does forget the emblems on his bench. You would love to play Soraka, and I think Soraka is probably better than having guardians.
I think Robin's thinking about where the thieves' gloves go as well. I think that was part of this.
I think that it's definitely Soraka over Tarek. I don't know if I'd keep the guardians in at this point in the game. There's not even that much on the shield, and the Soraka give you +2 health every turn. Just increase the placement.
I am a little bit torn on this. I do feel like the Guardians have definitely lost a lot of their luster at this point. But it's still doing something. You know, shields are never useless.
iiLucky stuck at 7. I mentioned this earlier when if you're playing one of these dragon augments where you're playing for multiple dragons, you're stuck at 7 is not a good spot to be. It's just dragons really want to be at 8. Yeah, even though this is able to kill a bunch of stuff, it's just not going to be enough to deal with the board. There's just not enough units, not enough front line, and see Lucky is sitting at 1 health, but that's enough to get him a 7th at least.
Better than an 8th.
As Saibur goes out there.
Saibur taking the hit sets to go down to 4 on this one as well. It feels like you're just being hunted down. And gosh, you spelled it out, but when you actually see it, like from the first person perspective,
yes. Look at this. This is the level 7 dragon board. This is.
Oh,
it feels like. I mean, he said it and he hit a couple dragons, but then this is still your board, and it's like, oh well. I guess life sucks. It's one of those. Oh, I got a ghost, though. Wow, that is very fortunate that he's able to draw a ghost here, because that might be enough. And at this point, you don't even watch your own board. You just watch Setsugo's board.
Shrouded! Your Ashen got shrouded!
Yeah, I think... Oh, and now this thing's on it, and there's nothing for the jump back to. So I think you're just going to get eaten again. Oh, but the cast went off. That might be enough.
Oh, no.
The other one should cast now.
Oh, no.
Does it finish it? Nope. And he'll go out here in 7th. And that is the problem with being stuck at 7 when you're playing dragons. I think no matter what, if I'm playing dragons, I think I will go to 8. And even if I only have 5 health left, it's better than Donkey rolling at 7.
Setsugo's side of the board, I do feel like this panned out relatively well, albeit the health total is really the difference in this factor.
Yeah,
the other question I'm looking at is the Yasuo holding a Frozen Heart versus perhaps a Talon holding a Frozen Heart.
I think Yasuo is probably
piece to piece.
I think Yasuo is probably a little better. I think what Setsugo really needs to have happen though is he needs to be able to go into the game systems and revert this to like 5 patches ago, and then and then I think he's good to go. But otherwise, I don't see him beating this Deja board. Dishsoap's able to hit that Deja too, and still have good money. So Dishsoap's in a great spot. Great items on Deja. Great money.
Has kind of picking this apart. I mean, the board is getting soloed down here so that the Yasuo actually is in a eliminate the Deja perspective from that point.
I was wrong. This thing's better than I thought it was.
Wow. Okay, I didn't really consider that. If you're able to just like isolate the board down to the most powerful unit, the Yasuo can finish it off from there. That's a great call in hindsight.
Wow.
Let's go looking at the Banshees. Soju gonna favor the Hextech Gunblade. I'm definitely noticing that things like Zephyr and Shroud get taken a lot less at these endgame carousels.
Yeah, I think part of it is people are lazy, and part of it people just want items on their carries to finish off a few things. Like I said, the Zephyr isn't really providing... I think a lot of people are looking at numbers a lot more closely these days, and Zephyr's numbers just aren't particularly good. And I think that's influencing a lot of the decisions, whereas previous patches or sets, I think a lot of people would have instantly taken a Zephyr or a Shroud. It's just become a lot less desirable these days. And players have also gotten better at dodging and avoiding it.
Yeah, that's true. All those aspects of it are very true right now. jasonjava is sitting in a fantastic spot with this.
87 gold,
Guardian
not bad.
87 gold to support the Gambler's Blade, to build you up to level 9, the 10 win streak going on, a big 2-star melee dragon that's marching forward, and the Guardian shields you're getting because of these double Warmogs are massive.
It's a big shield. There's a shield coming in, so you got double tanks. Oh, but this is a lot of damage coming out from Dishsoap. Yeah, and I can't tell. It looks like
the Lulu diff.
Yeah, there's Lulu gap there, but it's coming down to the dragons here, but it's just gonna be not quite enough as Dishsoap takes another loss. So kind of surprising. Dishsoap is probably sitting in a position where he's like, oh yeah, my board's pretty strong, but unfortunately not quite strong enough to deal with jasonjava's board. That was the one that hit the Shioyu 2 on stage 3, and he was able to just full win streak from that point.
Setsugo going out in 6th place here and maintaining that average point for the day has not been the hottest day.
Ooh, that's a big hit. That
Wow.
Soju's able to find that Nico there. Nico, if you ask a lot of people, they'll tell you the most important unit in a Jade comp is Nico. Not even Shioyu, but having Nico too just enables the rest of your team to actually be able to do things. So he gets the ghost, he shrouds most of the team. This should be, I would say, a win for Robin here.
Zephyr's the Lulu as well. I'd say that's the most important unit to Zephyr.
Yeah,
just that way
no-
you can't
no
get distracted
Lulu
on
gap.
the charge.
And also his Siphon insta-killed the Deja. That's not a bad outcome.
It is a little bit of a ghost diff, but I think it demonstrates the positioning importance here
Yep.
on Robin's side of the board very well.
I think there's a good chance he would have won anyway, but yeah. Oh wow, you're seeing Dishsoap lose again. So Dishsoap's in a spot where you're looking at his board. There's not much he can do to make it stronger. Besides go 9 now. Unfortunately, he will be able to go 9. Maybe drop in a 5-cost unit. And like a Soraka or a Bard are always going to make a bit of a difference. But if I were him, I'd be a little surprised that I lost that many fights on that stage. And you're seeing here, jasonjava is primed and ready to go up a level. I'm kind of curious if he just decides to roll instead. But no, it looks like he's already pre-leveled it a little bit. So you'll see him go up to 9. And then looks like a Shyvana is due to come in, probably drop the Lulu and play Shiv.
I mean, you're saying pre-leveled a little bit, but this is a lot of pre-leveling.
A lot of pre-leveling.
Yeah, that's 42 XP that's sitting on the bar right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunate to get a second Sunfire Cape, not what you're looking forward to, but jasonjava here is now about to have the pop-off. Nobody on a highlightable
goodness.
win streak. Roll number 1.
So I actually think that you want to remake the Deja, or at least pop the item. Oh, you have a remover. Just pop the items off and play it on. Yeah. And I think Elshin is eventually going to go in over Deja.
Still favoring the Guardian aspect here as well.
I think at this point, it might be Nico, but looks like he's going to keep Deja. I'm surprised he's not going to hold this Elshin. At this point, I don't see why you would chase after this Deja 3. I think maybe he expects Dishsoap to die. But there's a lot of options. This is one of these things where endgame, we talk about this in terms of like what does a cat board look like, and there's a lot of different opinions on what's good or what's not good. And so even if I'm saying something is like not what I would do, I could very easily be wrong on these spots.
It's virtually impossible, I'd say, to know on like a definitive sense unless it's just a point where one is so much less likely than the other one that it's just a ridiculous thought. With no mana providing onto the Aushin, it certainly feels like a bit of a weaker unit. I feel like the Deja is clearing up plenty enough to justify the damage aspect on that one. Dishsoap is the reason that you basically wouldn't be hitting a 3-star Deja right now, but Dishsoap had a pretty rough stage 5 and is sitting at the bottom of the lobby in terms of the health total left.
Yeah, he was able to go 9. He's got 5 cabs in. He's got a Soraka in now as well. That's going to obviously help with a lot of different units here. Getting more items for the cybernetic value on the shell there. And he's in a spot where if he is able to hit Yasuo 2, I believe that is going to be what he feels like is his win condition at the moment.
I definitely agree with all those aspects as well. I love the Soraka just kind of bumping up the life total again, maybe giving you that 1 shot extra.
Able to dodge Shroud here, that's pretty big. Casper here, we see... I would say Casper's board is entirely reliant on whether this dragon is able to get where it needs to go, and it's looking like it's going to get a real good dash here.
Oh, no.
Oh, it does not one-shot it, though.
Down.
Oh, that's
Yasuo's
so
gotta
close.
Get it done. Not close
Not enough, and Dishsoap goes out in 4th. That was a very close fight.
Wow.
Yeah, Dishsoap's got to be sitting there scratching head a little bit. I feel like he played that game very well, had a very strong final board, and just was unfortunate that he was unable to win some fights. That the position was good there, too. He was opposite side Siphon, he avoided the Shroud, and just couldn't quite get it.
I want to highlight the Shioyu on Soju's side of the board here as well. For a very long time, I felt like Edge Knight is extremely powerful in this unit, and sustain items are very powerful as well. I think that sustain item, Edge of Night, and then something that helps Shioyu live and deal damage is a great best in slot for that unit. Don't distract yourself too much by the numbers, I would say.
Yeah, I think Edge of Night is, I think, the single most important item on Shioyu. I would take Edge of Night over Bloodthirst even, personally, but it's going to vary depending on user experience. You can see the Siphon here, one-shot the back line, which is unfortunate. This Shyvana is just not going to have any damage. There's no damage left on this board. You see the Jade Gioyu went down. You saw the dragons go down, and jasonjava unfortunately is going to tech into a third. Oh wow, just barely! Wow, the double kill there at the end for Casper. What a board! Well, you're just looking basically at Corki and Siphon, and that's enough to take it.
Holy smokes, a double kill at the end is a big one. That Siphon just cleared the way the entire time as we head over to Lobby D on Sock's side of the board. And a lot to take in here at the start.
Smartest Siphon I've ever seen, right there. I mean, that's, you're looking at boards. That was a board that would have gone 5th or 6th in a lot of other lobbies we've seen today. And so a lot of it's just understanding what's going on. And we talked about this earlier in that board where you saw an early Siphon 2, you saw an early Shioyu 2. And because those two things happen, it accelerates the speed of the lobby. So a lot of people end up forcing and rolling early. Not that many people go 9. You're not going to see a lot of those 10-cost dragons come in. But even when they did come in, you did see the Siphon was enough as long as it gets the right charge. You just got to train your Siphon to have some IQ, and that's all you need to win games sometimes.
Send him to the dojo. I'm looking at Sock's board here. I still think Aurelion Sol is actually quite powerful.
I think he's really strong. If you're able, I think Aurelion Sol is buoyed quite a bit by Zoe, because Zoe does so much to stall and buy time. Basically, every ability that Zoe has is going to buy extra time for the site or Aurelion Sol to pop off. Because as long as you get to that 12-second threshold where Aurelion Sol ascends and ults the whole board, it's very difficult to lose once you get to that spot. He's also got great frontline here. You see 4 units that are all upgraded, and it's going to be a nice front line to have.
I always love watching Sox play because he just continues to piece out the board as he's rolling down.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's like this is a just-in-case kind of unit. And then he'll arrive at a spot and then suddenly 3 units get sold and he puts in the thing that was there at the start of the round.
Yeah, and ends up getting a great Shroud, and he's got 2 Zoes in with Shojin on the second one. So
how does he do it? He makes it look so casual as well. It's such a beautiful thing to watch. He's just such a deep understanding.
Yeah, it's so smart to see the spread on these items here, getting the second Zoe in, because there's a couple of cybernetic value here. Wow. Good night to Paki Gam.
Could be. I mean, this is Yasuo 2 still, so I think it's...
the
Zoe with the block!
This guy's actually doing negative damage to this Yasuo. Okay, that first negative damage, it was the Edge of Night that blocked most of the damage. And so it's down to a 1v1 here. Sox struggling quite a bit here. You see him in 28th place. Needing the first is going to put him within striking range here for sure. And that the first gives him a fighting chance to get to the second day. Exactly what he needed. It's a great time to be high rolling. There goes Yasuo in.
Up and then all the items getting spread thanks to the cybernetic value. This is just... I wish I could have seen this game from the start. It's games like this where like Sox is at just like the peak level.
We got Varus on the other side. I've been flaming Varus, but looking like not too bad here. So Sox has identified that Bard is going to be a little bit stronger here. Oh yeah, so this is an example of a Varus game that does look good. If you look at the augments, it's double trouble. I mean, it's basically, that's almost best in slot. Maybe Triforce is better than one of the second 2 options, but as far as it goes, this is about as good as it's going to get for Varus augments. And I think this is the type of situation where, yeah, you can play Varus. You got a couple of Varuses of 3 items, but I'm not sure there's enough damage here as this final cast comes out. Nope.
Yeah, I do feel like Aurelion Sol is definitely one of the
And that's
counters.
6 plus 15. That'll be game here as Sox will take a first over Clear.
Yeah, hands clap indeed.
Big win. That puts him at 21 now. And generally, historically, the cutoff